a war going on. The books can't escape from the team. Call the morning steam. It's time to break one for cover. That's gonna cover. That's gonna cash. Then we make the 100-yard dash to the window. I don't know what you thought. It's Ramon Scott running so hot. Sports make money and we make money with sports money every single day. NFL, NHL, NCAA. Stay away from the juice or might play a parlay. It's the morning steam. What? Ramon Scott. Sports money. What? Wake your ass up and let's get to the money. Get to the money. You know how we do it.
All right, a pleasant good morning to you coming from the sports betting capital of the world, Las Vegas. This is Ramon Scott, and welcome to the Morning Steam Show here for Monday, February 16th. It's a holiday Monday. Happy President's Day to you. I wish there was more sports action on this holiday. Used to be plenty of sports action on President's Day in the NBA and other sports as well, but you got the hockey players over at the Olympics, and you have the NBA conducting their All-Star game last night. I don't know when the NBA plans to do their All-Star game in the future. Of course, everyone knows that at least in 2 seasons from now, that'll be the day of the Super Bowl, right? We'll have the Super Bowl on the day before President's Day, so Monday can be a big day off for everybody. That's the goal, 18 games and have the Super Bowl on the day before President's Day. What is the NBA going to do? How are they going to counter that programming? We did see the NBA All-Star game last night, and you know what? All rave reviews pretty much from everyone except me, because I liked the world All-Stars to win, and it was a good tournament and a good format. Everyone seemed to like the event. The players seemed to be into it. Felt competitive there. Maybe we're doing the regular season all wrong. Maybe we don't need 18 games. Maybe we need a shorter schedule. Maybe we need more 4-team pods out there. Maybe we need to play 12-minute games. That's what seems to get everybody going and making them excited and want to play. 82 games is too long. 48 minutes is too long. And these guys don't have much attention span. So, it was a pretty good tournament there last night. We did see Ant Edwards win the MVP of the NBA All-Star game there last night in Los Angeles at the Intuit Dome. And like I said, it feels like rave reviews. Were you into it? Did you think it was a good event there with the NBA All-Star game and that format change, a little 2-team round robin? It could have come down to a little tiebreaker there with the points differential to see who was advancing. So we didn't fall into too much, I want to say, controversy with that. I mean, I think people want to see things kind of determined. There was one point there, Team World actually needed to win the game by 3 points, even if they would have won that last game. So that would have been, a little bit awkward, right? They lose, they win the game, say by 1, yet the team stripes would have still advanced. The first game went to overtime. Victor Wembanyama came out playing hard, and they basically, Team USA Stars said that kind of motivated us in that first game. We saw Wembanyama trying real hard, and that kind of motivated Ant Edwards and company to come back and win that first game 37-35 in overtime. They outscored the Team World there, 5-3 in overtime, and then Team USA Stripes got their first win. Those were the old heads, as KD liked to call them. They beat the young stars in the first game between those two teams, 42-40, behind Jalen Brown's 11 points. Kawhi. Uh, in the third game with the USA Stripes and Team World, Kawhi had 31 points in the game. The game's only 12 minutes long. Imagine that. Kawhi would have scored 124 points in a 48-minute game. Of course, we know he wouldn't have played all those minutes. Kind of weird, right? I mean, Kawhi playing all those minutes. There were only 7-player teams, so that kind of dictated. And the game was only 12 minutes long. So Kawhi had the big performance there. He would have been the MVP if not for the fact that the USA Stars went on to win 47-21 in a blowout. So I don't know, was it really a good format there in the end? They blew them out in the end, the USA Stars, behind Tyrese Maxey, 9 points, and Ant Edwards in there with that team as well. So that was the NBA All-Star game, and I think they found a format they'll like. I mean, we'll definitely be doing this for a year or two. Who knows what will end up being after that. And again, if people liked it, that's what's going to get people coming back. And we'll see how the ratings were for NBA All-Star Weekend. Man, the Stars led that one 12-1, and then 36-9. I talked up Kawhi Leonard with that big game, but him and Kevin Durant actually went 0 for 8 shooting in that championship game, shooting 26% there in that one. So that's the way it went with the NBA All-Star game there in Los Angeles on Sunday. Hey, there was some other great sports action on Sunday as well, including the Daytona 500. And if you missed it, hey, you missed a great race there and a good finish as well. Yeah, another wreck on the final lap. We've seen it before with the Daytona 500. They run, it's kind of like the NBA All-Star game there a little bit. They run it in stages there at the Daytona 500. The accident was also marred by a 20-car wreck there at the front of the pack, but Tyler Reddick raced from third to first. He bumped Ricky Stenhouse to win the race. Reddick survived also a 30-car pack race over the final 4 laps after fuel, and Bubba Wallace led in there, but in the end it was Michael Jeffrey Jordan getting his first Daytona 500 ring as the owner of the 23X team there. The NBA legend wins the Daytona 500 as an owner. He got the big trophy there. Jordan, a lot of people were celebrating Jordan's victory, calling it a big victory, of course, for him and for a minority team owner like Jordan, a minority team owner, but he owns the majority of the team. But still, was not the first North Carolina former NBA champ to win the Daytona 500. Believe it or not, he's the second. Brad Daugherty won the Daytona 500 as an owner before a former North Carolina basketball player that won an NBA title that also won Daytona 500 championship. How about that? Jordan, not even the first. Brad Daugherty gets that honor. But all kidding aside, Jordan obviously, Brad Daugherty is a pretty good basketball player in his day, but he wasn't the best player in the history of the game. And Michael Jordan there with the win at the Daytona 500. Pretty awesome there on Sunday. Also, Colin Morikawa birdied the 18th hole. He finished with 7 birdies on Sunday. Hey, he didn't take the weekend necessarily away from my guy, Anthony Kim, with his incredible performance. Worth mentioning again, it was the story of the weekend, in my opinion, through some of these other sports. Anthony Kim's incredible comeback on Saturday night at the Live Tour in Australia, 16 years after winning the Houston Open and being a 3-time PGA Tour winner, 3rd in the Masters, remember at 23 years old, basically leading the U.S. Ryder Cup team to a victory over Europe. He also performed well at the President's Cup, then ended up with a torn Achilles, turned to alcohol and drugs, disappeared from the scene, took a massive double-digit $1 million insurance payout, because he could not play golf at the time, was basically out of golf for 15 years, signed with the Live Tour, didn't ever get anything done with the Live Tour, played as a wild card, finished next to last one season, last in the next, had to end up trying to qualify again for the Live Tour, did so at a special event to earn his way back at the last minute, shows up in one of the first events in the Middle East, finishes fifth, gets signed by the Four Aces, but Dustin Johnson's team, after Patrick Reed left that team. And what did he go out and do? He went out and won his first golf tournament in 16 years. He battled the demons. It is something you see in his appearance, and also in his gait a little bit as well. Almost a sheepish winner there after 16 years. It brought David Faraday absolutely to tears on that final hole. If anybody watched Faraday in a couple of interviews with Kim, maybe knows the story even a little more. Kim's never actually come out and addressed the overall problems that he had a little bit, maybe with his drug use. Like I said, you can see in his appearance a little bit, maybe in his eyes too, as far as where he's been and where he's come from. But met a girl, made a family, and it changed his life. And he went out and won at the Live Tour. And when you look at Anthony Kim, I mean, this guy makes birdies like nobody's business. He was in the business of doing when he was on the PGA Tour as a young stud. But he got caught up in the race and, caught up in the problems there, maybe caused by the injuries, right? Turned to painkillers and then more. Missed out on all that time, and then comes back and wins in an emotional event there on Saturday. But yeah, on Sunday, Colin Morikawa finished strong and beat Sepp Straka and Minwoo Lee. Scotty Scheffler came all the way back. I got on Scotty there at, believe it or not, 25-1, and was about ready to try to hedge into one of those guys, but they were firing a little bit, and Scotty didn't get it done. But so far, Scotty basically has lost 10 guys on the golf course over the last year, but fell short there again. Tommy Fleetwood also at 20 under, Rory, Xander, some of the names at the AT&T Pebble Beach. All right, and also we're getting ready here in short order at the Olympic Games. We are ready for action here in 1 hour from now with women's hockey semifinal, United States and Sweden here this afternoon, this morning here on the West Coast, and it is the USA, a huge favorite here, but you might try to play the handicap a little bit if you're ready for a little morning action here today. And we'll take a look at the matchup here with the United States. Oh, we got our first steam. There we go. We're going to have some steam. But let me talk a little hockey here real quick and get these games off with the Winter Olympics women's action here today with the USA. They're favored by 4.5 goals at minus $1.25 or so, and the total is 6 under 15 in this one. Look, I think the U.S. can take care of Sweden, but oh man, can they get this handicap at 4.5? Look, I'm figuring it more or less 4-0 here, 5-0, or 5-1. So I think maybe the under is what I prefer. It's now 6 under 15. It was 6.5 and continues to move lower. 6.5 is minus 150 or so right here. So I'm expecting 4-0, 5-0, or 5-1 in this game. That obviously makes it very, very close on the spread there a little bit. I think maybe Sweden might be the call for me, figuring that maybe 2 or 3 of the Results might favor them here. I don't know if USA can um, 5-0. I think is a possibility. So just going to try to edge it with Sweden. Maybe under is my preferred play there, as I see U.S. winning it. Whether or not they can get the puck line there, like I said, it's kind of gone down here to 4.5. It was 5. I guess I'd rather take 5 goals with Sweden here in this one, but +5 is minus $1.45. That might be okay. I mean, there's only a few ways to play it because probably going to be right in that range today. I don't know if I expect anything close to an upset or anything like that. Let me know what you think in game number 1. Then game number 2, it will be Canada and Switzerland in this one. You got Canada, another big favorite here. They're favored by 4.5 goals as well at minus 105. The total there 6 under 20. So I think Canada will be headed for a large victory, of course, but I'll say it will be in the range of 6-1 or 7-1. So I think that favors Canada for me here. Minus 4.5 is minus 105. Minus 4 is minus 165. So got to get a little chalky here, I think, to play the games in the Olympics here. I don't think Sweden comes close to Canada, and I'm going to take Canada probably to cover that. Maybe go minus 4 at minus 165 just to be sure in case it's a push. And I want to win here, but I'm going to say the final score will be 6-1 or 7-1 today. I guess that takes it over too. So I guess I like the over. Maybe I like the over just as much, if not a little bit more. Total there. Hey, if you want to go to 5.5, it's minus $1.45. So 2 big games at the Olympic Games today. We've already had some results today at the Winter Olympics as well. There's been some of the results anyway come through, but there is still a couple events to come here this morning for medals here today. So I will take a quick look here at 2 events still to come. Men's super team ski jump. I'm going to take a little bit of an upset here with Slovenia at 3-1. Japan is the favorite there in that one, and I'm going to try Slovenia at 3-1. And then later on, it is women's bobsled. Nolte here is the favorite in this one, and I would think that minus 275 going to be hard to beat here. Nolte of Germany, but if you want to root for an American, you can take, I think, 6-1 with Callie Humphreys of the United States. There is probably a decent long shot here to win. I mean, the Germans in the bobsled right now, they're pretty much going to sweep everything. I think they're the dominant bobsled nation here. And this is the first medal event at the games coming here today. But it wouldn't surprise me if Germany, I mean, they pretty much Humphreys of the United States and Jasmine Jones in the 2-woman bobsled, also could give a run and probably a medal. But here in the women's monobob, yeah, I said it. Nolte there. Maybe I can try Humphreys at 6-1. Really, out of Humphreys and Walker, they're the only other that are kind of even possible. I'm looking at Callie Humphreys right now on the screen here after her first run. She's about to go down there on the course right now, it looks like. All right. So hopefully that's a look at a few games. It's actually a light night here. There she is from Carlsbad, California, Callie Humphreys, my neck of the woods. So a little bit of a homer there for me. But let me say hello to everyone in the chat and see what else is going on here today. I'll try to talk a little more sports here. And let me get that steam to you real quick that came in while you were listening. I know you guys probably said, what, we're missing it, Ramon, or you're not. Southeast Louisiana, note this one. This is our first game of the day. Southeast Louisiana against East Texas A&M. Maybe we should have previewed it, but we can at least tell you that Southeast Louisiana took the steam here at plus 2.5 or so in their game with East Texas A&M. And we're seeing that one right now as I see Callie Humphreys ready to go down here on the monobob. Did I just say that again? Uh, East Texas A&M is down to a 1.5 or a 1 point favorite as Southeast Louisiana took the steam just a few moments ago, and also New Orleans and Incarnate Word, some steam here on the under. In this one with New Orleans and Incarnate Word. Those teams have produced some overs this year, but Incarnate Word does have kind of a, a home conference weekday night thing going a little bit with the unders, and that's where the move is. It was 156.5, and the steam came in on the under with New Orleans and Incarnate Word, and it's down to 155 right now here on the Morning Steam Show. We'll keep you posted, and we're going to preview. I think we've got 7 games to preview in our college preview today. One time change to note if you're looking for a little daytime sports betting action here. 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific, Coppin State and South Carolina State was a time change to move up there a little bit here. So does give us another day game at least. And then UL Lafayette and Old Dominion will preview. That one starts at 5 Eastern and 2 Pacific. So we got a little bit of daytime sports action here, late afternoon anyway. Also, there was couple of games on the pitch today in Serie A. Lecce and Cagliari. Also La Liga with Barcelona and Girona today. So a couple games in there to look at. I'll take your inquiries in the chat as well. Let me know what else we can find to bet on today on our light betting card. Who is here and who's ready to go? Bobby Mack is in here first today. Andrew K says, good morning to the chat all-stars. Hello, stars. There. And that's what we need right there, Andrew K. How about that? Got my own empire here. We can run the events. I liked it. We got a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Right. We need that. We can go into, I think I was down a rabbit hole on YouTube looking at all the, it's amazing now with the AI, right? There's so many new videos coming out showing old history and everything, and I love the colorized, and what it looked like to be living in the going to the events at the Coliseum or the some of the old places in the medieval times there a little bit. All right, here's Philly Eagle Flyer, Blake M as well. There's Nuke in the chat. Ready to go. D Money is here. M the Great is here. Nuke says we've got a college basketball card. I mean, that's all we can ask for on a day like today. A Yo D is ready to go with the steam here today. VAR is in the chat. Andrew K had Morikawa there. And Philly Eagle Flyer figures tough day there for Sweden and Switzerland even to score. I guess maybe I'm giving them a little too much credit here today. Like I said, I pretty much gave Switzerland one goal there. And maybe Sweden will not score. So everybody's waiting for U.S. Canada, not only on the women's side, but on the men's side as well. The men here obviously are going to be off here today, but they'll be ready to resume action at the Winter Olympic Games here with the conclusion there. We do know the matchups now in men's hockey as well. Let me just cover it here real quick, and we'll get back to it. On the men's side here, we will resume action on Tuesday now that we all know the teams that have advanced, and this is a neat format as the 4 teams with the best records, the 3 group champions and 1 wild card, I guess, advanced through. The wild card, I think, was Finland. So Canada, U.S., Slovakia, and Finland will all play on Wednesday. But tomorrow, on Tuesday, we do have the matchups for the next round, and it will be Germany and France. Germany, a pretty big favorite there at -$7 or so. The winner of that game will take on Slovakia. Then we have also Switzerland and Italy, the winner to take on Finland in that one. And Switzerland's about minus 2,000 there. Czechia and Denmark with the winner to face off with Canada. Again, all these teams will play on Tuesday, so they'll be on a back-to-back. And then the teams that get a bye obviously will be rested. So Czechia and Denmark, you have Czechia about a $4 favorite there to advance to play Canada. And then the United States will play the winner of Sweden versus Latvia, and Sweden's a minus 1,500 there in that one to advance to take on the United States there. Those quarterfinal games are on Wednesday, and then we'll have the semifinals on Friday. And then on Sunday will be the gold medal game. The bronze medal game will be on Saturday. So we'll be at the gold medal on Sunday. Hope you enjoyed the coverage yesterday with Mikey Money and Jeff and the boys over from the Who Bangin' team with Dylon and Ixniz, as they had the coverage yesterday for the U.S. there. And great job by the guys covering that game with the USA. It wasn't the greatest game, but they were talking some other sports in there as well as it was going on. So great job by the guys last night. I'm sure they'll want to do that gold medal game on Sunday. But first, we'll be in action here on Saturday, and we'll have VB MMA picks up here. Today we'll run the show, and we'll run it back here on Sports Money Network. VB MMA picks will be seen here this week on a little bit of delay. But we will have the show this week and a great card here this week, as well as we head down to Houston this week after the week off. And it will be UFC Fight Night here in Houston this week. It's going to be a great event with Strickland versus Hernandez. Really all good main event here, middleweights. Between Sean Strickland and Anthony Hernandez. Jeff Neal takes on Uros Medic. Welterweights in the co-main this week on Paramount Plus. We're back in action here this week with the UFC. All right, everyone, like this video, subscribe to our channel, Sports Money, here on YouTube, the fastest growing sports betting channel on YouTube. Let's try to bring us some winners here. Twisted's got us covered. He's got some of these games here tonight. We did have games yesterday here on Sunday. We brought home some winners here on the morning steam yesterday. So we found a few winners, I think, somewhere in there. The premiums weren't, I went pretty light on that card yesterday. It was coming off a little bit of a rough day. So maybe I dialed it back just a little bit, but I'm ready to go here on Monday. Some of the winners we had here on the morning steam included Merrimack and Quinnipiac game to go under yesterday. That was a winner for us on the morning steam. And we had also Belmont and Murray State winner on the under here yesterday as well. I tried to play some college baseball yesterday, but could only manage a couple of winners there, as I had Oklahoma State over Vandy and the under with Stanford and Oregon State. But late last night, college baseball, number one, UCLA goes down to defeat against UC San Diego. So UC San Diego salvaged one of those games, and they beat number one UCLA there yesterday. Also had some winners. I had some premiums in special requests from our Tops, so got a chance to look at some of the women's action. I went 3-1 with my sports money premiums on the women's side. So, hey, you know what? Maybe we'll play a little bit more women's action there coming up. All right, let's see here. Philly Eagle Flyer talking a little bit of soccer with us today, and the matchup there with Girona. I'm seeing a pretty big move here right now. Actually, on Barcelona is up to $3. I think they were $2.50 or $2.75. Man, is it snowing in New York City? It's 50 degrees here in Las Vegas this morning. And Damon's here as well. Jordi Fuentes ready to go here. We saw some FA Cup action. We'll have one more game in the FA Cup round of 16 today with Brentford and Macclesfield. Macclesfield at home in that one. Brentford's a $5 favorite. Watch out, Brentford. watch out. I don't know, but we'll see there. All right, Eric's ready to find some action here today. Andrew K. loving that baseball. And there's Jordy with his plays in there today. All right, Bayern Munich women, is what he said. Man, you guys are real good there. Also, Kansas State fired their head coach last night, and Jerome Tang. A little bit of controversy with Tang. He was critical of his team's performance, and the AD says, "Hey, we don't want that. We don't want to criticize our players who are making some pretty good money, and." They're trying hard. So it was only two or 3 weeks ago that Tang responded to criticism by reporters saying, hey, what do you think about your team not playing very well? And they were kind of setting him up to maybe say something critical. At that time, he said, I think our team played hard. I think they are trying hard. Well, as soon as he came back with some criticism after last night's game, they pretty much fired him on the tarmac out there. And then Jerome Tang gets fired by Kansas State basketball there. They're having a rough season, and when you're in the shadow of the other team in Lawrence, they're going to need to be a little bit better than next to last place in Manhattan. So that was it for Jerome Tang there. All right. All right, and let's see here. I think that might be. There's our Tomps. We were just talking about you in there, talking about that action. Okay, I guess we'll get ready to go here with our show. There were some good games yesterday in college basketball that we didn't talk about, including Indiana and Illinois there yesterday with the Illini, and I think that was pretty much it. Let's maybe get ready to go, trying to find more action here today, but what can we do? Let's just get to the show. It won't be a long show, so we'll just go with our previews and our plays here. Hey, everyone, you can get more picks from me today over at winnable.com/Ramon. Get more picks today. I'll try to have some good packages out there. Want to thank everyone for re-upping with me here and keeping it going. And slow week this week, but hey, I'll make it up to you when we get back to the NBA and NHL. I'll still have a few plays out there today, and hopefully we're going to give you some winners here in just a moment. But go to winnable.com/Ramon and use the promo code STEAM. This gets you more plays from me in a timely fashion. A lot of these games we preview them in the morning, but I send out usually between 30 and 60 minutes before game time, sometimes a little bit later on the free picks there. Sometimes some late breaking information comes in, and what we do is send out more winners for you, and this is how you can get more plays from me. Why not have some of my recommendations in your back pocket? It's only 41 cents a day when you subscribe to my Winnable page over at winnable.com/Ramon and use the promo code STEAM there. Look, you don't have to play them word for word. It's just like having a trusty advisor in your pocket. Pardon me, guys. I might need to just give me 1 second here. All right, there we go. Maybe it's a little morning here too. Let's go to our previews here today and get it rolling in college basketball, and hopefully these games will be enough for you today. But I'll start it off here. We go to the Sun Belt with action today. UL Lafayette taking on Old Dominion here in this one with ULL on the road. ODU here this morning, or this afternoon anyway, previewing it here this morning with this one, with Old Dominion favored here by 6, and the total here 136 in this one. This one's down. The two teams are kind of down in the standings here in the Sun Belt, but hey, we're looking for some games to talk about anyway, and I'll take a look here at this one. We'll take a look at the other big one here in the Sun Belt in just a moment. These two teams are kind of near the bottom of the conference standings here, with the Louisiana coming in with a 6-7 record. They're 9-17 overall. Old Dominion, they're 5-9. And 19-8 overall coming in. But I think when you look at the overall conference standings, Louisiana started off the season dismal. Really, they went just 1-11 in their first 12 games, but ever since then they're now 9-17. So they've gone 8-6 with also 2 non-conference wins, including the win over Central Michigan last Saturday. In that MAC Sunbelt Challenge. Now they did come back to lose at home to Coastal. That actually snapped a 4-game winning streak. So look, it's been a little bit of a good run here for UL Lafayette. They've definitely played better in league play, it feels like right now, than this Old Dominion team that actually has come in here. They're actually coming off of a win over Georgia State, but they haven't been able to put together 2 wins at all this season against Division I competition, and they've just beat Georgia State. Every time they've won, they've lost their next game, and they haven't really put anything together here. They've been actually worse than Louisiana, it feels like, of late, but they're treating them like a pretty big favorite here at -6. In this one, and I don't know if I think that's the way this one's necessarily going to go. I think UL Lafayette can compete here in this game, given how well they've played so far this season. Now, these two teams have not yet met this season. Last year, ODU did win a couple of games against ULL, including the game at home, 67-49, in a very low-scoring game here. But, this one I think might be able to sneak over. I don't know. I think, though, I want to take UL Lafayette in this one. Just feels like they are the better team right now. Maybe with weak teams, you'd prefer to take a home team here, laying some points. But I just think that when 2 mediocre teams are going at it, maybe one team, like I said, they were on a winning streak here just until that last game. So UL Lafayette's won 4 of their last 5. They've covered 5 of their last 6 on the road, covered 4 of their last 5 overall. Give Old Dominion some credit here. They are 8-2-1 against the spread in their last 11 games. So, yeah, they've been, losing games but covering the numbers. However, they are just 2-4 against the spread as a favorite. Now, ULL is 8-11 against the spread as an underdog. ULL's gone over in 4 of their last 6 games, and Old Dominion's gone over in 6 of their last 8, and 6 of the last 8 meetings between these two teams have gone over. I will say that Louisiana actually is 4-9 to the under on the road and 8-12 to the under as an underdog, but I'm going to take UL Lafayette here +6 in this one against Old Dominion today. And let's see if anybody comments in the chat on this one. It's NYC Bar here is on Old Dominion -6, and Nuke says you got to take the points or just stay away from this one. Not a great game, so we have a different game here in the Sun Belt next up. Let's get to it. This is one of the better games here in the Sun Belt here, an important game for the regular season standings. We know the Sun Belt probably going to be a 1-bid league, so for a lot of these teams, winning a conference championship is still important in these conferences, even though it doesn't give you a golden ticket. Anyway, South Alabama comes in here in first place. The standings are kind of tough to figure out in the Sun Belt, but Marshall could be tied for first here, I think, or at least a half a game back, I think. With a win today, they would actually pull into a tie with South Alabama. South Alabama technically is tied with Appalachian State right now South Alabama's 9-4, sitting in first place. Appalachian State is 10-5 in conference play, technically tied with South Alabama. Troy is in third place at 9-5, and then Marshall is 8-5. Even Texas State and Coastal with 9-6 and 8-6 records, they might still be alive as well. Chase Harris of South Alabama, probably the best player in the conference, will be in this game. Marshall is favored in the game by, I believe, 3 here. The steam came in this morning on South Alabama. I don't mind South Alabama. I think here they feel like a better team. Oh, we got a little steam. All right. How about Colgate in their game against BU? Colgate's taking the steam here right now against BU. They were favored by 1.5, and here comes the steam rolling in here on Colgate right now. They're up to a 3-point favorite in their game against BU today. Steam on Colgate right now here on the Morning Steam show. All right, let's maybe talk a few stats here with these guys. South Alabama taking on Marshall here and for first place, or at least South Alabama can maybe pull away a little bit here if they can get this win. South Alabama has won 6 of their last 7 games overall. They're 5-2 against the spread. They've won 3 straight here as USA with wins over Arkansas State, Southern Miss, and Buffalo. They covered against Buffalo as a favorite. They won as an upset in the games on the road against Southern Miss and Arkansas State. Now, they did just play 2 straight road games, but they're on a little bit of a roll here right now. For Marshall, they're just 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 games, 1-7 against the spread in their last 8 games at home. So they're struggling here a little bit. Marshall is just 3-10 against the spread at home overall, 3-13 against the spread as a favorite. USA 8-5 against the spread on the road, and 8-4 against the spread overall here. So let's get your plays, and I'll give you one more steam play here that just came in on Alabama State. Alabama State taking the steam against the worst team in the country ratings-wise with Mississippi Valley. Alabama State was a 14.5-point favorite, and they got steamed here against Mississippi Valley. Does have the lowest ranking in the Ken Palm rankings at the bottom here of the standings there, but it is a steam move here right now on Alabama State. And they are up to a 15.5-point favorite right now over Mississippi Valley here today. All right, so let's see what you have here. USA is 8-4 to the over as an underdog. Marshall is 11-5 to the over as a favorite, 9-4 to the over at home. So this does look like a pretty high-scoring game, I think, here, and I'm going to take the over in this one with South Alabama and Marshall at 150-ish. Yep, it's gone up a little bit here from 148.5, 148. So been going up. I'll take the over. Let's see what you have in the chat. Here we go with let's see, Marshall for VAR in there. And there's Andrew K. He's talking a little bit of baseball. Yeah, we only have 4 games today in college baseball, and hey, we might have to look at those here today. We've got the games going on in Puerto Rico here. The game there, he's mentioned it. The one game in Puerto Rico there between Washington and Houston. Also today, Michigan and Oregon State going on in Surprise, Arizona. You got the game between Nebraska and Stanford and Scottsdale, and then Arkansas and Tarleton that we played at Globe Life Field in Houston. Oh, and then Gonzaga and Hawaii also on the island today, a day game out there with Gonzaga and Hawaii. So a little bit of college baseball today. Robert's on Marshall here, lay the points. He's on the under, and Nuke likes USA. The wrong USA, or the right USA, but okay. I think that's it for that one. Next up, All right. Well, look, we're hard up. We're hard up for some games here with Syracuse taking on Duke. That spread's wrong, and the move has been. Oh, got some steam here, real quick. Let me squeeze this one in. Oh man, I gotta like this one. I'm gonna. Oh, oh. This is one of our previewed games. I just gave it away. I should have sat on this. I don't want to sit on the steam, but man, there's a big move on the under here with Michigan State and North Carolina Central. Let me just give this out right now, man. It was 154.5. I was jumping for joy at this one. All of a sudden, this thing is down to 150 here. It's been a 4.5 point move here this morning with Morgan State and North Carolina Central. Look, I still want to recommend it here. Didn't do the handicap for nothing, but maybe it is just a free play now as we've seen this game move here with Morgan State and North Carolina Central. I only mention it because you got a team here and North Carolina Central. They've been going kind of under these numbers here a little bit, and I would think in this game it's probably going to be a pretty serious under. It's my play. The preview's coming up. I like it under here as my play this morning, if I can. Now the move's already on, so I'm on the under here with Morgan State and North Carolina Central today. All right. We'll get to the preview. I think it's the next game up after the Duke game, but the steam just came in. Look, here's the graphic. I'll show you. The 154 when I typed it in 154.5, and it's already down. It's one down to 150 right now here with that game. Even 149.5 here at some square books. Oh man, that's all right. Okay. Duke here taking on Syracuse. Oh, like I said, I got to update this one too. It's down to 19.5. The move is on Syracuse here. Today, so total here 143, 142.5 or so. And I mean, look, Syracuse, they're not even on the bubble here. I think Syracuse is going to be on the outside looking into the NCAA tournament. But if they could just get a big, I mean, this feels like the one, right? You got to get a game that is going to boost your profile. Still, you're 20-point underdogs here, but hey, Syracuse has won 2 in a row here right now over Cal and SMU at home. They got the money, and if anything, Syracuse, as mediocre as they've been this season, they're actually covering some numbers here of late. They're on a little bit of a cover streak right now, having covered 5 straight games. They also covered in losses against Virginia and UNC. They're just 3-6 straight up in their last 9, and they're just 1-7. ATS against the Blue Devils here in the last 8 meetings. 8 of the last 12 meetings between these two teams have gone over, but Duke is a hardcore under team this year. They are really holding some teams down to some really low numbers here of late. They just held Clemson to 54. They held Pitt to 54. They held BC to 49. They held Virginia Tech to 58. And a lot of these teams are, what can you say, they're similar to Syracuse, no better or worse, probably right in the group. And really, Duke really stymies these teams. Now, look, you want to kind of give Syracuse, it feels like, a chance. I think the move might actually be a little bit live. Syracuse has done a little bit of covering here, like I said, of late. And the lower these games get in score, you got to figure maybe that's what makes 20 points at least a little bit valuable. Duke has failed to cover in 4 straight games here right now, including spreads very similar to this. Failed against Clemson as a 13.5-point favorite. Failed against Pitt as a 17.5-point favorite. Failed against BC as a 26-point favorite. Now, they did cover over BTech, but it does seem like they have trouble with some of these numbers. Now, you got to also give Duke credit for that 7-1 spread record against North Carolina here of late. Last year's meeting was 83-54. Duke won at Syracuse, a 17.5-point favorite. So let's see if you got a play here. I'm just looking for action on a Monday. And, we got some major conference action here. We've got one huge game still to come. Don't worry. But let's see here. In this one, we've got Var says he leans to Syracuse, and Andrew K. also were willing to take Syracuse. Our Tops does like Duke here. I'm going to try Syracuse to cover this one. Look, I think maybe the under is my preferred play in this game, but I'm going to try Duke here. Syracuse here plus 19.5 in this one against Duke. Like I said, 4 straight non-covers here for Duke right now. I don't know if they're in a little bit of a doldrums here. We'll see what happens when the poll comes out today. Of course, with Arizona losing this week, we'll see, what we have at the top. But just feels like right now with Michigan, Duke, Arizona, and Houston, there are some other teams out there with 1 loss or 2 loss, teams like Connecticut, teams like Gonzaga, but they don't really have quite the resume as those other teams. So those 4 right now, and look, I'm on 2 futures. I have Duke at 9-1. I have Arizona here at 5-1. Those are obviously early, even earlier this season, but those 4 seem to be the teams right now. Florida's obviously got a lot of momentum. They had those early losses. It feels like they're playing a little bit towards those top teams right now. But all right, let's see. Robert's going under here. All right. Let's go back to the extra board a little bit here with a few more games real quick, and then we'll get to the big one. But I got a few more to preview here anyway. How about the game I just mentioned here with Morgan State and North Carolina Central? I guess I'm in on this one on the under. I blew the preview there. Should have just waited, but couldn't wait. The total was moving here. I got to update it. It's 150, even 149.5. I'll take it all the way down here. The steam just came in on this one, so I think it's 150 here. Still 4.5 point move or so, and also North Carolina Central here, probably more of a 3.5 point favorite right now. In fact, if you look at Circa, where the sharper number is, they are -3. If you look at a square book like Bovada, I think Central is -4 right now. So we'll call it 3.5. Look, it's Morgan State that's coming in here as the hot team here. This one opened as high as 5, but I think Morgan has kind of captured the attention of bettors here right now because they are on a bit of a winning streak. And, you look here with the at the standings here currently in the MEAC, and Morgan is in first place at 6-2. North Carolina Central is 5-3. So, hey, we did find a game that has some impact here in the regular season championship here. The tournament will be determining who goes to the NCAA tourney. But for now, Morgan State half a game ahead of Howard and 1 game ahead of Central here. Also, South Carolina State is 4-3, so we got a long way to go here. Alfred Worrell, the senior for Morgan State, leads the way, and they're hot right now. They're winning and they're covering. Morgan State comes in here on a bit of a roll with wins over Delaware State, Howard, Norfolk. Those were outright upset wins. Then they beat Coppin and they beat Maryland Eastern Shore as part of their winning streak here right now for the Morgan State Bears. They've won 6 in a row, covered 5 in a row. They've also gone 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games against Central here. Central is just 1-4 against the spread in their last 5. Now Central's always been a pretty good home team. They're 7-4 this year at home, but they were 7-1 in their previous 8 games at home. Morgan just 4-8 straight up on the road, but in conference play it's been pretty good for them. Morgan's gone over in 6 straight games coming in, and 7 straight meetings between these two have gone over, but I just thought it was too high of a number here, and I took the under in this one. I think, Morgan State definitely is the team with more momentum. Central comes in here off of a loss to Coppin. Mentioned they haven't been covering here, really. They did cover against Delaware State as a favorite, but that was the only cover they've had in any of the last 5 games overall. So let's see if I at least carved out enough of a interest for you here. Bobby Mack does like North Carolina Central and the under, and VAR says take Morgan here in this one. So look, hey, we're looking for games. This is one of the better games actually on the schedule as far as the better teams in the conference, playing for a regular season conference title here and one of the biggest games going. All right. Good game here. Anytime we're talking Stephen F. Austin, just going to preview them one more time here before we get to a little bit of conference. Hey, we're closing in on conference tourney action here. So do have Stephen F. Austin in this one on the road. They're going to be, where's the total? Sorry about that, gang. Just stop typing there. Let me make sure it's still 5.5. SFA, call it 6. Call it 6 right now, and we're going to say it's a 136 for the total there. There we go. All right, so let's go to the Southland here. Here in this one with SFA. Look, SFA is in first place at 16-1. Corpus Christi, meanwhile, they're 10-7. They're having a pretty good season. They're 14-12 overall. We got obviously Keon Thompson, Lateef Patrick here as part of the great Stephen F. Austin run right now. They are 16-1. You look at the like I said, at the standings here, there are just 5 games left in this conference, and then we'll be into the conference tournament. So Stephen F. Austin, just 1 conference loss. It was to McNeese State. There, they actually got their revenge on them at home. That was their 1 loss. Their other all losses this season for Stephen F. Austin were to UT Arlington and Fresno. They have won 11 straight here right now. That's the 4th longest streak in the nation here currently. For Corpus Christi here, meanwhile, they come in having won over Lamar last time out. They have not lost more than 2 straight in conference play, having like I said, a little decent season here. But Stephen F. Austin still a decent favorite here on the road by 6 points. And let's see if you like this one. And will Stephen F. Austin keep it up? Is McNeese the best team, in the conference still, despite, Stephen F. Austin leading the way here right now? McNeese still, I guess, with a chance, but they do have 3 losses, and Stephen F. Austin closing in on the regular season championship here. Rio Grande Valley is actually tied with Corpus Christi and Nicholls State at 10-7 coming in. All right, let me get it right here. For SFA here coming in, they've covered 15 of their last 18 overall. So, I mean, that's huge when you think about it, right? And especially in this conference and the level of play to not only win, but really smash these teams pretty good, covering the numbers here like nobody's business. For SFA, they come in here right now having covered in their last game against Rio Grande Valley. They also beat East Texas A&M, although they did not cover that one, laying 15.5 at home. Still, they're 14-4 against the spread as a favorite, 9-3 against the spread on the road. Meanwhile, Corpus Christi just 2-6 against the spread at home this season, although they're 5-5 against the spread as an underdog. They failed to cover 4 of their last 6, and they failed to cover 4 of their last 5 at home. I will mention Corpus Christi has actually covered 7 of the last 9 meetings between these two teams, and 5 of the last 7 meetings between these two teams have gone over. The widely reported steam did come in on the under here. I'm going to take Stephen F. Austin to get this one done and keep the pressure on right now. It feels like they're going strong enough for me. I'll take the favorite here. Hey, all you can do is take favorites that cover, and not bad. 14-4 ATS as a favorite. Okay, here we go. Nuke is on Stephen F. Austin. Bobby Mack's on Stephen F. Austin. Maybe they'll find their way. Hey, don't blow it in the conference tournament. I mean, if you figure SFA McNeese, look, you might not win the regular season title, but you still got 2 good teams in this conference. And probably out of the, all these, I don't want to call them bottom-rated conferences, and the Southland's no slouch here for sure. Okay. I think I'm running out of games here, but I got another 1 or 2 here. Let's see what we got. We've got Pine Bluff on the road against Alabama A&M. Just mentioned that steam came in a short time ago, and I think that was probably the way that I'd be headed here in this one with Pine Bluff and Alabama. Alabama A&M here. I didn't even know when I was a kid, I thought I knew a lot about sports. And I was really impressed that my English teacher was a wide receiver at Alabama A&M. I thought that was pretty cool. And, it just kind of all tied in with that. Having a guy who played, this was, I think 7th grade or 8th grade or something. But, an English teacher, comes from Alabama A&M. I really took a liking to him. I was already loving journalism as a young man, and just to listen to him kind of coach me up in sports writing a little bit. I don't think he was much into sports writing, but he was a former player and an English teacher, and he saw a student that really liked to write about sports, and I had a great chemistry with that teacher, who and later I found out was a high school football coach. So I really was impressed by him, and man, really a mentor of mine. I went to Alabama A&M, and I wouldn't even known it in 7th grade. I knew about didn't even call them HBCUs, I don't think, back in the day, but really big influence on my life, I'll tell you that. Okay, for Pine Bluff here, they're 5-1 straight up in their last 6, but just 3-6 against the spread in their last 9 games overall. For Pine Bluff here, 1-6 ATS in their last 7 games against Alabama A&M. Pine Bluff's gone under in 7 of their last 10. 13 of the last 17 meetings between these two teams have gone under, and you got an Alabama A&M team here at home where basically 14 of their last 16 home games have been under this total, this number anyway. So I got to take the under here with these two, with a Pine Bluff and Alabama A&M here. I'm going under in this one. Let's see how you have it today as I kind of go with one more game here. Pine Bluff comes in 11-14. A&M comes in here 14-11. Alabama A&M's won 2 straight over Grambling. They won that one outright as an underdog on the road, but then they won against Mississippi Valley but couldn't cover at home, laying 15.5 to the worst team in the country, but only could win by 7. For Pine Bluff here, they're off of a loss to Alcorn, Alabama State, actually, 79-61. They were on a winning streak before that, though. Pine Bluff was on a little bit of a run there. These two teams met back in January, and it was Pine Bluff winning 95-83 is a 1.5 point dog at home. That was the one win because remember, like I said, this has been a kind of a good streak here actually for uh, Alabama A&M against Pine Bluff. So that was the one game. Before that was a bunch of covers by Alabama A&M. So I'm going to take the under in this one. Let's see if you have anything here. I'm just trying to give out some other games today. Alabama A&M for Bobby Mack. NYC Bar likes Alabama A&M on the money line. And Nuke says take UAPB plus the points in that one. All right, let's get to the big game of the night here. One of the big games of the season, actually, here on, used to be Big Monday. I mean, I can remember back in the day, Monday night meant Big Monday. You'd have the Big East, the Big 10, the Big 12 would all play like a back-to-back-to-back games. They'd play them at like 7 Eastern, 9 Eastern, and 11 Eastern, and then they'd have the Big, the ESPN called it Big Monday. So now it's just this one game here between third-ranked Houston and fifth-ranked Iowa State. Get your popcorn ready. Look at Iowa State there. They're favored in this game. I just mentioned the best teams in the country. And, Houston, hey, eventually you're going to have to finish the job one of these years. Maybe this year with the, Houston, every year they've got a pretty good player on their team, right? But it does feel like this man here with Kingston Fleming's a talented freshman. Yes, Iowa State has Joshua Jefferson, maybe the player of the year in the conference. I don't know. Debanza is having a great year, but he's kind of tailed off, it feels like here. And JT Toppin's having a great year as well. But Joshua Jefferson, Kingston Fleming's here. Great two players in this game. Let's see how you have it here with UH taking on Iowa State here today. Iowa State, of course, they did lose a couple of games back there. They lost to TCU 62-55 on the road, kind of stopped their winning ways, but still, Iowa State 10-7 against the spread as a favorite. Houston 5-4 against the spread on the road. This is the first time this season that Houston will be an underdog. Wow. Does that mean something here? Or does it just mean that Houston's getting a couple of points? I don't know. I think it's screaming here, Iowa State a little bit, but still going to be a great one here tonight. Wow. Let's see how you have it. You don't need me maybe to go through the numbers here, but Houston is 12-5 against the spread in their last 17 games overall. Houston's gone under in 5 straight. Iowa State has gone 5-0-1 against the spread against the Houston Cougars in their last 6 meetings last year. Houston won it 68-59 at home. They did not cover. Iowa State got the win. These two teams have met 4 times in the last 2 years together. It was actually 3 meetings back in 2024, including a conference tournament game, I believe. Back in 2024, as these two teams met, I believe it was the championship game. Anyways, Iowa State won that game 69-41 over Houston at that time. Iowa State has actually won 2 of the last 4 meetings. These two teams have only met 4 times, really, since conferences got together a little bit, and Iowa State's won 2 of them. Now, the average scores in this game, I mean, you've got 68-59, 69-41, 57-53. You can see this one's going to be a real grind. We know how this game's going to go, right? I think it is going to be pretty low scoring here, even at 135. Might be hard pressed to get that one. Let's see how you guys have it. I mean, Iowa State at home, they do have a tendency to go, well over this number, but when they're playing Houston, I don't know. And now Iowa State has gone under in 3 straight games here right now. So Houston's on an under streak, as we said. let's see how you have it here. This big game tonight between Houston and Iowa State. 4 of the last 5 meetings, three of the last 4 recent meetings have gone under. Iowa State comes in here having gone under in 6 of their last 7. They're 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 games overall. So let's see how you have it. Here's Iowa State for Bobby Mack. Nukes on Houston here. Roberts on the over in this one. Barr liking Houston and maybe a lean to the over. Andrew K likes these teams to do some damage in the tournament. We mentioned Houston here. They're, like I said, right now probably a top 4 team for most people here with just 2 losses. But Iowa State 22-3. They're right in that group as well. Top 10 action, I guess. Okay, and hey, up 1 money's in here today as well. And Twisted does like the over here. I'm going to stick with the under, but man, I just have a feeling like, look, sometimes I want to feel like with Iowa State, I should go over a little bit. Now, Houston, look, they're 3-7 to the under in their last 10. Iowa State is 5-11 to the under as a favorite. They've gone under in 2-7-1 to the under in their last 10 here. So I'm going to take Iowa State in this one to win and cover. It might be that close that maybe the money line's the way to go. I don't really do a lot of money lines or say, hey, just take them on the money line. If anything, that would mean kind of supposed to take Houston, I think. But I'm going to try Iowa State here. Houston's had a great run, but Iowa State, obviously, no slouch. Their conference losses are to KU and Cincinnati and TCU, all of them on the road. They beat all the home teams here. Meanwhile, for Houston, look, their 2 losses. They lost to Tennessee, and then they lost to Texas Tech on the road here. So I'm going to go ahead and take Iowa State in this one. Oh, man, is that it for the morning steam show? Man, we should have gone over all of these games today, but hey, let's just make it a quick one here, just a little over an hour today, and we'll be back tomorrow with more college basketball action. It looks like it's about 30-ish games, maybe a little short of 30. Nuke probably knows already. But we'll look at a little college basketball tomorrow. We'll probably start to talk about men's hockey as well to talk about. So yeah, I'll have some plays over at winnable.com today. And there's our tops on Houston there a little bit. Head on over to winnable.com/Ramon. I'm going to try some college baseball again today, maybe even more action here. Look, our tops, we won 3-1 there yesterday with the women's games, and there's some pretty good games today as well, including Iowa and Nebraska, Utah and Oklahoma State today. So maybe I'll have another women's game or 2 in there. So go over to winnable.com/Ramon. Use the promo code STEAM, and let's hear from Mikey Money to tell us all about it.
Hey, it's Mikey Money here, letting you know the Sports Money team is live on Winnable. Come check out our best bets.
For a low monthly cost, you get the very best bets delivered instantly to your phone by text the moment they're locked in. No delays, no missed lines, just the smartest plays at the best odds.
We do the work, you get the plays, and they're sent right to your phone right when we drop them.
Don't wait, don't guess, don't miss the line. Join the winning team today and start cashing tickets with Winnable.
Okay, let's bring up the drawing here, and let's see. Oh, man, we don't have a lot of entries today, but we'll still do the drawing. Some people just like to win the drawing. They don't even go over to winnable.com. Let's see what we got here, though. Whoever wins gets 1 free month of plays from me. Here we go. Twisted, Jordy, Blake, Damon, up one money, our tops. We've got the winner is up one money. Oh, got me there. Oh, Bar. Hey, we got to put Bar in there. I got Bar going to extend his subscription here for Bar. All right, Bar, good to have him in here. Hopefully I get the right one in there. I think sometimes I might mess up. I've got a couple of bars in there, but I think I know which one it is here. So Bar, hopefully I'll get extended right. You're already a great subscriber, so I really appreciate you. And there's Twisted with his last plays, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining me here on the show. Sorry for the snipples here, but that's just the way it went today. We'll be back tomorrow with more Morning Steam. Join Mikey Money today, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific. I think you'll find some plays in there in college basketball. Takes one day off. That'd be fine, too, on our light card. But before you know it, we'll be back at the NBA on Thursday night. And then, hey, we're going to be doing some spring training baseball here, getting ready for the baseball season. We saw plenty of action out there, plenty of news here in baseball right now with a lot of players signing here. And also we did hear from my man Alex Bessia talking about that awful time they were having during the World Series, and he came back to spring training and talking about the death of his little baby there that cost him from not playing in the World Series. But hey, life gets in the way sometimes, doesn't it? So, all right, gang, really appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed the show, and we'll be back tomorrow with more Morning Steam here on the Sports Money Network. And like I said, tonight we'll have BB MMA picks, and we'll run that show here probably sometime after Sports Money. We'll do a live premiere of the show this evening for BB MMA picks here for a great UFC card this week with Sean Strickland and Anthony Hernandez. So good middleweight bout here this week in Houston. We'll be with the guys on Saturday, and then I'm thinking they'll probably be back on the air on Sunday. Maybe I'll even show up for that one when the U.S. takes on Canada. We hope and we think. All right, it's going to do it. Thanks a lot, everybody. And for the Sports Money Network, I'm Ramon Scott. So long.
For cover, that's gonna cover, that's gonna cash. Then we make the 100-yard dash to the window. I don't know what you thought. It's Ramon Scott running so hot. Sports make money and we make money with sports money every single day. NFL, NHL, NCAA. Stay away from the juice, we might play a parlay. It's the Morning Steam. What? Ramon Scott. Sports money. What? Wake your ass up and let's get to the money. Get to the money.